The FDA Food Safety Modernization Act, the most sweeping reform to our food safety law in more than 70 years, was signed into law by President Obama on January 4, 2011. Compliance requirements are expected to start mid-2016 and take effect on a rolling basis through 2019. It aims to ensure the U.S. food supply is safe by shifting the focus from responding to contamination to preventing it. Foodborne illness is largely preventable if everyone in today's global food chain could be held responsible and accountable at each step for controlling hazards that can cause illness. The major elements of FSMA are preventive controls. For the first time, FDA has a legislative mandate to require comprehensive prevention-based controls across the food supply to prevent or significantly minimize the likelihood of problems occurring. It's called Hazard Analysis and Risk-Based Preventive Controls. Inspection and compliance. The legislation recognizes that inspection is an important means of holding industry accountable for its responsibility to produce safe food. FDA is committed to applying its inspection resources in risk-based manner and adopting innovative inspection approaches. Imported food safety. FDA has new tools to ensure that imported foods meet U.S. standards and are safe for our consumers. For example, for the first time, importers must verify that their foreign suppliers have adequate preventive controls in place to ensure safety, and FDA will be able to accredit qualified third-party auditors to certify that foreign food facilities are complying with U.S. food safety standards. Response. For the first time, FDA has the mandatory authority to do food product recalls. The agency has other new authorities that are also in effect. Expanded administrative detention of products that are potentially in violation of the law and suspension of a food facility's registration. Enhanced partnerships. The legislation recognizes the importance of strengthening existing collaboration among all food safety agencies, U.S. federal, state, local, territorial, tribal, and foreign, to achieve our public health goals. HACCP is a management system in which food safety is addressed through the analysis and control of biological, chemical, and physical hazards, from raw material production, procurement, and handling to the manufacturing, distribution, and consumption of the finished product. Dairy products, juice, seafood, retail, and food service are all subject to HACCP. Meat HACCP systems are regulated by the USDA, while seafood and juice are regulated by the FDA. HACCP was conceived in the 1960s when NASA asked Pillsbury to design and manufacture the first foods for spaceflight. Since then, HACCP has been recognized internationally as a logical tool for adapting traditional inspection methods to a modern, science-based food safety system. Here are the 7 principles of HACCP. Number 1. Conduct a hazard analysis. Plants determine the food safety hazards and identify the preventative measures the plants can apply to control these hazards. A food safety hazard is any biological, chemical, or physical property that may cause food to be unsafe for human consumption. Number 2. Identify critical control points. A critical control point is a point, step, or procedure in a food manufacturing process at which control can be applied and, as a result, a food safety hazard can be prevented, eliminated, or reduced to an acceptable level. 3. Establish critical limits for each critical control point. A critical limit is a maximum or minimum value to which a physical, biological, or chemical hazard must be controlled at a critical control point to prevent, eliminate, or reduce it to an acceptable level. 4. Establish critical control point monitoring requirements. Monitoring activities are necessary to ensure that the process is under control at each critical control point. In the United States, the FSIS requires that each monitoring procedure and its frequency be listed in the HACCP plan. 5. establish corrective actions. These are actions to be taken when monitoring indicates a deviation from an established critical limit. A plant's HACCP plan must identify the corrective actions to be taken. 6. Establish procedures for ensuring the HACCP system is working as intended. Validation ensures that the plants do what they were designed to do. That is, they are successful in ensuring the production of a safe product. Plants will be required to validate their own HACCP plans. 7. Establishing record-keeping procedures. The HACCP regulation requires that all plants maintain certain documents, including its hazard analysis and written HACCP plan, and records documenting the monitoring of critical control points, critical limits, verification activities, and the handling of deviations. Implementation involves monitoring, verifying, and validating the daily work that is compliant with regulatory requirements at all stages all the time. We highly recommend you take the Maui Food Innovation Center's online classes shown below. The University of Hawaii CTAR website has a list of training videos on food safety compliance, such as hand washing techniques, live rodent trap, labeling boxes for sale, keeping pests from your crops, etc. Food safety rules and regulations continue to evolve. Viewers shall check with relevant federal and state authorities, academic institutions, and food safety experts for particular rules and questions. This movie serves as a reference only. The Hawaii Department of Agriculture does not guarantee the full accuracy of the information contained in this movie. Hey, thank you for watching this movie. Funding for the movie comes from the USDA Agriculture Marketing Services Federal State Marketing Improvement Program and the Hawaii Department of Agriculture. We encourage entrepreneurs and investors to start new farming businesses in Hawaii. How do you do that? Well, the first step is call Liz at the numbers given.